You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Chrissie, and joining me is my co-host, Thad. Thad, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. I think I'm transforming into the next state of my life, but other than that, I think I'm all right.
We should always be transforming into the next state of our life,
That's
right?
true.
Maybe not so drastically, but... All right. And also joining us today is Sue from Women at Warp. Sue, how are you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
So happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I am doing just great.
Good deal. All right. Well, before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make this show possible, particularly our associate producers, Carl Wonders and Justin Oser. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10 at patreon.com/BQN. And with a monthly subscription of just $5, you can join our Meetings of the Hive Mind on the second Saturday of each month. Watch your Patreon messages for details. All right, well, we have one piece of news this week.
Oh, yes, we do.
And what a piece of news it is. Yeah, so Mission Seattle's canceled.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to think they weren't planning to do it in the first place.
Yeah. So there's two possibilities for that. First, let's go in a bit to the drama of how the news of Mission Seattle being canceled broke.
Oh, yes. So, props to Alex Perry.
Yeah. Friend of the podcast, Alex Perry, sent an email to ReedPop, the company that put on Mission Chicago and was supposed to be putting on Mission Seattle, basically asking what's going on. There hasn't been a single update to the website since they announced that the show was going to happen. They're still not selling tickets, etc., etc. The website still half the things say Chicago instead of Seattle. And they responded, and a very off-the-cuff, almost certainly not approved message responded saying, thank you for your interest in Mission Chicago 2023. We have decided not to have that convention. So at that point, Twitter is like, well, is this real or not? Because they say Chicago. Two, that's clearly not an official press release. I do wonder if the person that responded to Alex may have gotten talking to at ReedPop or something, because that is not
Probably.
the sort of, let's just reply to the email of Star Trek news podcast host like this. Yeah,
I mean, that's assuming they even had any clue who Alex
Right,
was or why he was asking. I mean, my experience with ReedPop
fair.
is I have done stuff for ReedPop shows for nearly a decade now as an exhibitor, as a panelist, they run New York Comic Con and a bunch of other like smaller Northeast events, but mainly New York Comic Con. And I've worked with them on like at least 3 different aspects over a decade, and they have always been disorganized. I also, from con to con, even within a year, have never had the same contact.
Oh my God.
Their turnover rate has always been incredibly high. So I would not be surprised if this person who responded to this email has been around for a couple of months or even just a couple of weeks and didn't think anything about this not being public knowledge that this event was canceled.
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
But you can blame the person, but you can also blame who trained them.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. So this caused quite a bit of speculation on the internet, and there was no official response from ReedPop or Paramount for 2 days, because why would there be? Until finally the official Mission Chicago social media put out a post saying that, unfortunately, they have decided to cancel the convention. And that's really all we know. So there's a couple possibilities here. One is that ReedPop wasn't satisfied with Chicago and doesn't want to do another convention. It's certainly possible. I would say that they have mostly themselves to blame for that by not actually publicizing the convention until like 2 weeks before it happened. But the other possibility, which I think is more likely based on what happened with Destination Star Trek over in the UK and Germany, which is that from what we know, based on things that we have heard from people who worked for Destination, the reason those have been canceled and aren't coming back is that Paramount didn't want to do them anymore. So that combined with the cancellation of Mission Seattle leads me to suspect that this was probably Paramount's decision, that they don't want to do their own official convention and would rather do their big events at San Diego Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con, which get way more press than their own convention anyway.
I don't know about that. Okay. I don't know that Paramount CBS would have given the license, not given, but have signed the deal for the license with ReedPop had they not wanted to continue this, because ReedPop is also the company that puts on Star Wars Celebration every year. Mm-hmm. And I think they had in their heads that they could have a Star Trek celebration, essentially. But another thing I don't think is getting enough attention is that within the last couple of years, there's been construction at the Seattle Convention Center, and there was a strike, a Teamster strike, that significantly delayed that construction. So the venue that they had booked might not be ready for the event, and that could be playing into it as well.
And that's absolutely possible. My thought is, if that were the case, why wouldn't they tell us all that? So that, like, we're not going to do these weird conspiracy theories about about the other reasons. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's something out of their control, that's something that everyone would understand and they could tell us.
Yeah. I think the other thing that might be going on logistically is that they have multiple new shows in production, but they're in production. You might not be able to get all of your actors for the current shows, and they're assuming that that's who people want to see. From a ReedPop production standpoint, again, this is my experience with them, my observations. I don't think they have Star Trek fans on staff. I don't think they understand how the Trek fandom is different from the Star Wars fandom. And they tried to just replicate Star Wars Celebration, and it doesn't work with this fandom.
That was incredibly evident by the guy that was emceeing the whole thing in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And even, like, we were technically vendors in Mission Chicago, and knew about this whole NFT thing before the attending public did. Because they were pushing it. They were like, our big part of our show floor is this new Star Trek NFT thing. And literally when they pitched this to me, I was like, are you sure you want to do that? Because here's how Star Trek fans have reacted to NFTs in just the last couple of months. And they were like, no, we think most Star Trek fans are young males who are early adopters. I'm like, okay, so you don't know this fan base whatsoever. Cool. Anyway. Yeah, it's just, I think there's a disconnect. And I don't want there to be. Like, I want ReedPop to be successful with Star Trek events. But something's got to change for that to happen.
The real question is, if Paramount doesn't want to do their own official conventions, like that, which is, I think might be part of the thing, they can still license a con without doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. Like how STLV was until we got new Star Trek. For years and years, STLV was the official Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, and the license really just meant they were able to use Star Trek branding in their advertisements, and have Star Trek. You could get your photo in the Borg assimilation chamber instead of the Thrall transportation hub. So, I wonder about this, and if it is because, again, the only reason I say Paramount maybe wanted to get out of this is because Destination Star Trek was also canceled, which, you know, the two data points together sort of make it seem like perhaps that there is a thing with Paramount there, which makes me wonder whether they would be willing to sell the license again to other conventioners who would want to do it, like Creation, or even, say, someone else who wants to do a licensed convention.
Yeah, I don't know how long the deal is they signed with ReedPop.
Right.
And
it's also important to note that the deal they signed with ReedPop was signed in a different time.
Yes.
That was signed right before the pandemic happened. Originally, Mission Chicago was going to happen in 2021?
Yes. A year earlier. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they were going to announce it in summer of 2020, and it was going to be a big deal, and then obviously that didn't happen.
I think even ReedPop started off on the wrong foot with Star Trek when they did the 50th anniversary Mission New York. Because that was not well attended, but right from the jump, like, they announced it late especially for a holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend convention, and it was programmed against 3 major, well-established cons that same weekend: Dragon Con, Worldcon, and Fan Expo Canada.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And they announced it like maybe a month or 2 in advance. The people in the Northeast, the New Yorkers who go to Dragon Con, literally have that room booked for over a year. We're not going to change our minds and go to ReedPop's Mission New York. So they're
the weekend thing, but
there are that's problems from the beginning.
Mission Seattle from the get-go, I was still hoping to go, but was not 100% sure I was going to be able to, because it was Memorial Day weekend. So I'm already flying the whole way across the country, which is not cheap. And then doing it on a holiday weekend is even worse.
And for those of us going on the cruise, that's 2 long flights in the course of 3 months. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, it is worth noting the cruise is, as of now, the only officially licensed Star Trek event happening next year. So...
And they just opened some more rooms, so get on it.
So yeah, go on the cruise. I will honestly say it is my favorite week of the year, the Star Trek cruise. It is freaking fantastic, and I think Sue can agree with me.
Yeah. It is unlike any land convention by far. The thing that comes closest to it for me is Dragon Con. But it is far... It's an experience that I think everybody should try at least once. I really do. If you are able to, because it's also not cheap.
It is not cheap,
No.
And I will say, the one thing, it is not cheap, but if you manage to go once, then if you rebook while on the ship, it is cheaper. So the second hit is, in fact, the first hit is not free, but the second hit is discounted, if that helps.
That's how they get you.
How discounted? And I can cut this out if you need me to.
Well, that's complicated. I don't know the exact amounts, but it is considerably cheaper. And I think the price is going to be a lot higher for next year, because I know when I originally booked, I had booked as single occupancy with the possibility to add someone. And then after my roommate sent me the money to do that, I called and added it, and as I'm talking to the guy, he's saying, I've got to have to put in some special overrides because the prices have gone up, but you're still locked in on the price you booked on. So I think good. Just with everything going up, I think prices are going to be higher next year, but I still imagine there will be quite a discount for rebooking on the ship.
My experience is that you can generally upgrade a level or 2 for the same price you paid.
Or, if you still want to stay in the dark hole with no windows, which I do because it's the cheapest room, it's cheaper.
And that ticket covers your food and everything? Or most everything?
I mean, you can't... There are specialty restaurants that you can pay money to go to, but you don't have to. You can... The main dining room and the buffet are free... Well, or rather, included with your admission. Obviously not free. But yeah, that ticket covers all costs. It also covers... It does also technically cover gratuities for everything except alcohol. Alcohol you still should tip if you buy alcohol, but you can also get a drink package, which does cover the cost of alcohol and gratuities.
If you're having 10 drinks a day.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you do the math, it's not 10 drinks.
Okay,
it's
8.
And it's even less than that if you drink other things. So if you drink, because the alcohol package also includes soda and bottled water and everything else, that yes, there are cheaper packages to get just those. But you have to consider the total cost. Like, I did the math, and I actually did come out a little ahead. I had the unlimited drink package last year because my roommate, because if you get the alcohol package, everyone in your cabin has to get it because they don't want one person to get it and then, hand out the drinks to other people. My roommate had a truly astronomical bar bill the first year we went. So we both got the unlimited drink package this past time, and I think I still came out ahead because I would when I would sit down for dinner, I would order a cocktail because why not?
Yeah, you're not driving anywhere.
Right, exactly. When you go to one of the events where the theaters where you watch a panel or whatever, there's a bar there. You can just get a drink. Why not?
Can confirm Thad was pretty consistently drunk last year.
I definitely still came out ahead. I'm not doing the unlimited alcohol package next year. I have a different roommate, and she's not as quite as hardcore as my previous roommate. So it's fine, and I don't need it, and I will be fine, and I will probably drink less. But I think if you get it, it's a fun time, and you can easily still make your money's worth. You do not have to drink 10 alcoholic drinks a day. If you're drinking like 3 or 4, but also drinking soda and coffee and everything else, you will still come out ahead.
So soda and coffee is not included in the...
Regular coffee is free.
Is included.
But not soda.
Not soda.
Yeah, not soda. Soda is not included.
You have to pay for a Coke.
Yes.
You have to...
You can also get a soda package.
You can get just the soda package, which is a lot cheaper. Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, nobody cares.
Yeah, because on the ship... Chrissie, you know how some places have those Coca-Cola freestyle things where where you can basically, I call it Dial a Coke, where you can choose whatever
good name
whatever kind of Coke, and it will make it for you. Coke product, it will make it for you. They have those on the ship, and if you have the soda package, you have a special cup with a chip in the bottom that is, you have to use the special cup that's authorized to be able to get soda out of them. And then also in the dining room, you can get you can order soda with the soda package, or pay if you don't have the pay for soda if you don't have the soda package. But but what's that?
Yeah, no, go. Regular coffee is in there, but not
regular
a latte,
coffee is free. Yeah.
Yeah, there is also.
What about decaf?
Yes, I meant like.
In addition to both the alcohol package and the soda package, there is also a coffee card that you can get if you're a specialty coffee drinker. That I think it's like $25 or $30, and it's for up to 10 specialty coffee drinks.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah. It was not. It might have. I don't think it was very expensive at all. And that's
there
usually
are multiple
what I'll
packages. There's one that's just soda, and then there's one that's everything except alcohol, which is probably the one I'm going to sign up for, because the advantage to that one is you can get a bottle of water at any bar.
Yeah.
Because the bar, you can always get a glass of water. Every bar will give you a glass of water for free. That's just standard.
I would hope anywhere you can get a glass of water for free.
But if you have the alcohol package or the whatever deluxe drink package that includes everything except alcohol, you can also just get bottles of water at any bar, which when you're at a thing that is basically a convention at sea and you're always moving around going from place to place, being able to just stop, just walk down the hall and just stop for a second, like, can I have a bottle of water, and then keep going, is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
okay, well,
you should join us. You and Jay should join us on the cruise next year.
I have no idea how much I want to do that. I have to look into it. Although I have to say, I did have money scrolled away for Seattle.
So I will say, I was still on the fence about Seattle, which meant I was going to do either Seattle or Vegas. I didn't think I could swing both.
Yeah.
Since Seattle was canceled, I have, and at like literally the day that Seattle was officially canceled.
You tweeted, yeah.
Well, it worked out. I booked my hotel room at the Gold Coast Hotel, which is just across the street from the Rio, and it's half the price as the Rio. Wow. Yeah, you have to walk outside in the Vegas heat for 5 minutes, which it's not nothing. I will grant you that.
For me, that makes the Rio worth it, personally. But that's because I tend to wear velour tunics at Star Trek Las Vegas.
I do this in Starfleet, in full Starfleet uniform. You've seen me at a con suit.
Yeah.
I'm not underdressed.
I'm just saying, for some people like me, the
I'm
upcharge
saying,
for the Rio is worth not going outside.
It is absolutely worth it to be in the same convention. I would never judge anyone for staying at the Rio. I will say, though, if money is a concern for you, you can stay for much cheaper across the street, and you do have to walk outside for 5 minutes. But the thing is, you do that twice. You do that in the morning when the con starts. You do that at night when you go back to your room. Unless like you buy something big in the vendor's room, which, okay, yes, obviously I do that. But you don't have to go back. And the best part is, even if you do buy something big in the vendor's room, if you have friends staying at the Rio, you can just get them to just keep it in their room, which I've definitely done. If someone who couldn't afford to go, the hotel cost is not the...
It's not the big... Yeah, that's...
Yeah. I mean, that's true of all of Vegas. The hotel cost is
let
not
me just say this here. If you've never gone to Las Vegas, you're probably used to hotel costs being either the most expensive thing on a trip or close to it. When you go to Vegas, it never is. The hotel is usually the cheapest part because those hotels are cheap because they have casinos and they know that a large proportion of the people that stay in that hotel are going to do the games at that casino. So Vegas hotels are artificially cheaper than any other city in the United States by a country mile.
And you don't have to gamble to see those high prices in Vegas either. Like I work in Times Square.
You don't actually have to gamble.
I buy lunch in Times Square and I am shocked by the prices of food in Las Vegas. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I'm excited to be going back to STLV, and I'm glad that because I booked with, like I said, with the group rate for the hotel across the street from the Rio, came out after taxes and the resort fees and everything else comes out to $90 a night. I challenge you to get a hotel room in a hotel next to a convention center at anywhere close to that price in any other city in the United States.
Yeah, no, you're right there.
So anyway, yes, So if you're not going on the cruise, because admittedly the cruise will be a lot more expensive than going to Vegas.
Oh God,
consider going to STLV, which they do. I'm glad they have now decided to call it STLV again and realize that that's what people are going to say, even if it doesn't officially stand for Star Trek Las Vegas anymore. It doesn't stand for anything now. It's just STLV, the 57-year mission. But the first time they did it, they just called it the 56-year mission tour Vegas, which but we've been going to this convention people have been going to this convention for a decade, and they've been calling it an STLV. So that name still means something, even if they can't use the word Star Trek. So it is officially STLV again, even if it's not officially Star Trek. It's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be a ton of Trekkies there. We're not going to get any announcements about shows or any sneak previews like we would in an official con, but it will still be a lot of fun. There'll still be a lot of actors from all the shows. And the one thing that I do like, because Creation is definitely a money-grubbing Ferengi like every other convention company. But the one thing they do that I very much enjoy compared to, say, Reed Pop and some others is when you have a ticket to that convention, you have a guaranteed seat in the main theater.
That is good.
Well, and here's the thing about Star Trek Day and San Diego Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con, the places that we get the announcements, those panels are all there is for Star Trek. They can usually be live streamed or watched shortly thereafter. Mm-hmm. The trailers that they show are going to hit the internet instantaneously. You're not missing anything if you're not in that room. When you're at a
Mission Chicago, we did get exclusive stuff that people didn't see until months later.
Right, but I'm talking about San Diego, New York.
Yeah. I'm following you.
When you're at a specific Star Trek convention, what the additional things you're getting, Mission Chicago gave us some additional previews, but what you're missing is that community and that fandom and the running into people you see once a year in the vendor hall and the time talking to cast members at their tables. That's what is not at a San Diego or a New York.
And thankfully, that's something you can get at an unofficial Star Trek convention.
Yes.
Like STLV. And that's why I will be there, and I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see a lot of you there. So yeah, I don't think...
That is my favorite
because I know
part
Mission
of
Chicago was the first con you've been to in like a decade or something, right, Chrissie?
That was the first con I'd been to since I was a child. 93?
All right, well, we need to get you back.
Which was a small con in Flint, Michigan in one room in a Holiday Inn, so that barely counts.
I also enjoy cons like that. Cons like that are amazing.
Oh, okay. All right, well, when you're 11, I guess it's...
No, tiny local cons are like the lifeblood of fandom for me.
No, I will agree with you.
Oh, yeah, I love little cons.
Get more stuff in Detroit, people. We need more stuff in Detroit. I can go to stuff in Detroit.
I mean, if they do a Star Trek convention in Detroit, I can also go to Detroit. It's a little farther than it is for you, but I can still make it.
It's like that's so central.
And speaking
to the
of cons, because let's wrap this up at some point and talk about the episode. But speaking of cons, in 2 weeks I will be at GalaxyCon Columbus in Columbus, Ohio. So if any listeners are going to be there, hit me up and we can chat about Star Trek.
Yeah. And I will not be there, but that's the weekend that my sister and Jay and my sister's fiancé will be back on the podcast with me. So
yeah, I'll be a little too busy to podcast, what with the whole driving to Ohio and back.
Perfectly reasonable.
Anyway, let's talk about Prodigy.
Yeah. Okay, listeners, well, no Mission Seattle, but you have just been given all sorts of information, and I've had new information given to me sitting here about STLV and why you should go on the cruise. I wish I could go on the cruise, and all of that. But our topic today is an episode of Prodigy called Crossroads. And so, starting out... Sue, what are your thoughts about this week's episode of Prodigy?
I feel like this one is the filler so far in the second half of the season. This feels like the episode that needs to set up the next episode,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's not as coming off of All the World's stage. It's a little like it slows down a bit. There's a little more exposition. There's a little more setup. But I think it hopefully it is going to pair very nicely with the one that comes next week.
Yeah, it has that feeling for sure.
I mean, it certainly ends on a cliffhanger. Continuity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, Thad, your thoughts?
I have yet to see an episode of Prodigy I didn't like, and I think the moment that we've sort of been waiting for this whole second half of the season, we've been waiting for our heroes to meet the Starfleet people. So, that it finally happened, and like we talked last week, we were saying it might not necessarily be a good meeting. Turns out that's true, and we'll have to see where this goes from here. I'm wondering, is Okana just joining the crew now? Is he going to be part of the Prodigy crew?
The meeting is heartbreaking, though, right? Like,
oh yeah.
When you think about everything that's going on, they're kids. Let's remember they're kids. have this Starfleet ideal. They're running towards it. Somebody, I forget who said it, but somebody said they're Star Wars kids running away to Star Trek, and I just love it. But
that fits with how this episode felt.
Yeah,
I like that.
But they have this thing, and they think Starfleet is going to like be the thing that makes everything better for them. And then they learn that their ship will literally destroy Starfleet if they even come in contact. They can't even open a hail. And then, all right, we've got another plan. We're still gonna get there. We're gonna warn them about the protostar. And then Dal overhears that they're being treated like criminals by Starfleet, and that they think they've done a lot worse than they actually have. Yes, they've stolen the ship, but they did not kidnap Chakotay. You know, they did not actually intentionally shoot up a space station. So this,
I love that. Maybe they had good intentions.
So they're a danger to this thing that they want so badly. They could harm it, but also they're seen. They've already got, incorrect assumptions have been made about them already, and. The first time I watched this was with a friend of mine who just kept saying, well, why don't they tell Janeway the truth? Why don't they tell Janeway the truth? They have, all they've ever heard are stories. They have no basis for understanding whether they'll be believed, because they haven't been believed their entire lives. It's just, it's a lot of deep, complex stuff going on here. And it makes me feel for them.
Yeah, and they didn't have a chance to tell Janeway the truth.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to.
No.
But that scene though, where Janeway and Dow were talking, was powerful. I loved that.
Yeah. That was good too, with the whole of don't let fear get in your way. It was a very straightforward and a good lesson to have, no matter how old you are, quite frankly. But I thought it was such a good idea about hiding the ship and then going to Starfleet and telling them about it and telling them where they could find it, so they had an opportunity to try to fix things. I literally hadn't thought of doing that. So, yeah, cool. Go on them.
Yeah, it's a shame it didn't work out.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we're gonna leave it behind. We're gonna go to this. What was Jay calling it? He called it Snowy Trek Mos Eisley.
100%.
Yeah. This did feel, this had a lot of, it felt Star Wars-y, for sure. Which was okay.
I wouldn't have expected Xindi reptilians to be set up on a snow planet, personally.
No. Although it does make sense to have them as security, so, to me anyway. It's been a while since I watched it.
Well, they were the militaristic of the Xindi, so yes, that part does make sense. But I'm more thinking, reptiles and snow aren't,
Oh, 100%, yeah. Yes, so then we run into Okana. And then okay. Were you guys bothered by the fact that they were running around asking people for a ride? I mean, talk about... Can we get a ride with you? Can we get a ride with you? It was like, I remember... being told as a child, don't get in cars with people you don't know.
Well, yeah, but what else are they supposed to do?
That's all I could think of.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I realize. But it was just, that was the first thing I thought of, and it was like, yeah. Right, so Okana. My first thought here, even more Han Solo than before, because he was basically knockoff Han Solo in The Outrageous Okana, and then we go from there. We heard that Okana was going to be on Prodigy. We all thought that somebody had misspoken and confused our animated shows, because obviously Okana is more of a Lower Decks character. But here he is, and I think it's kind of working. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, I love Billy Campbell, so I'm happy to see him in things.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's a little weird. Like,
okay,
just because he's an older smuggler criminal guy hanging out with a bunch of kids. It's just weird.
Well, it's
not
not
like I was saying earlier. Don't get in the car with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, in this case, if he had chosen to tag along with them originally, yes, it would be kind of weird, I think. But the way they threw him in with them, that he's with them by sheer happenstance at this point.
Yeah, but he's also kind of acting like he doesn't know anything. Like when he gets on the Protostar and says, "Is this Warp 4?" Like, that was weird to me.
I feel like that was a joke based on his appearance on TNG when they were on the planet where they were on the star system where the people had very low technological level. Like, I feel like that was what that was trying to joke on, but obviously he's been around, so he should know what faster warp is like.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I'm not convinced by the need for Okana in Prodigy at this point. But I mean, I'm not really mad at it either.
I don't know. I think it works. It's an interesting choice. I guess I should go with that. But picking a guest star from that episode, I'm much happier that they're with Okana and not with Joe Piscopo.
Aren't we all?
He was actually on the Star Trek cruise the other year.
Oh, yeah?
Billy Campbell or Joe Piscopo?
Joe Piscopo. I did not go to his stand-up comedy. He had one. He had an event, and you could go see it.
He had an event, and you could go see it. This is quite the ringing endorsement.
I don't know. I'm sure it was fine. I don't know.
He was okay on SNL. Wasn't he on SNL for a while?
I don't know. That would have been before my time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. So we meet Okana. He's being Okana. And then, of course, we have Admiral Janeway looking for Barnes Frex first, because she finds out that he was on that station that got blowed up. How are we feeling about Barnes Frex?
He's not a shining example of Starfleet, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I think my reaction is the same as Vice Admiral Janeway's.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he must have a reputation, because there has been no other time where someone has not been answering their comm badge, and it was not immediately assumed that they were unable to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like in his file it must say something like that, because otherwise she might have acted differently. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. And I think perhaps because they were in the more Star Wars-y setting, that you got the idea that he was not answering because he didn't want to, not because he wasn't able to.
Yeah.
Well, it was sitting on his... He
right, he was ignoring it,
right
which means he didn't want it. Yeah. To me, is the equivalent of, like, silencing your phone and saying, I'm not going to look at that for a while, you know?
I don't know. I feel like there's going to be more to him than...
I don't know. Maybe he, like, did something that, like, rejected the call and they could see that. Like, if I get a... Because, like, if you... Because if I get a call on my phone and I hit the, reject or whatever, it immediately stops ringing for the person on the other end, so they know that I rejected it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Or if as opposed to letting it go forever, then they have no idea. So, like, I'm wondering if it's sort of something like that. Maybe he did... I don't know. Maybe it like links something into there's some sort of feedback that they can give back that says that, like, they know that it was on him but he did not respond.
Yeah. Well, he gives me vibes, because at first you're like, oh, he's alone on this space station, and that's kind of weird, but we've kind of seen that before, because that's what Scotty in Kelvin Timeline was. Well, it was him and Keenzer, right? And it seems to be a middle of nowhere kind of place, although it does seem quite advanced for a middle of nowhere kind of place. But now I'm starting to wonder if he was Starbase 80'd there.
Yeah, that's what I kind of think.
Yeah, I'm getting
especially because remember when they showed up on that starbase, he thought maybe they were sending him somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
he's like, no, not Nimbus 3.
Yes.
So yeah, he's a Starfleet up.
Yeah. What do we think about the other run-ins between members of our gallant Protostar crew and Janeway and her people?
I liked Jank and Pog with Jason Alexander, who I still cannot hear at all. The only way I know that's Jason Alexander is because the credits tell me it's so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm that bothered me. Right? Like, I know they're Tellarites, but I forget the doctor's actual name, but the doctor, he's a Starfleet officer. And to, like, be so rude and demeaning to, again, a kid. Like, I know they're Tellarites, but just that interaction.
Yeah, Noom.
Bugged me. It bugged me.
Well, okay, so I'm glad you brought that one up first, because I just took that as him being like, get out of my way, kid. You're a kid, and I'm going to not pay attention to you. Okay. Which, I mean, we can't say Starfleet doesn't do because, Captain Picard and his help me not make an ass of myself in front of children, right? So Starfleet does not teach childcare, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But then I was talking to my sister about it, and she goes, I didn't know the Tellarites had casts.
Yeah. When he says Pog is a name we reserve for paupers, right? It's just it's elitist,
I think that was I feel like that was. I don't think that's accurate. Like, what I'm saying is, I think the problem here is that Dr. Noom was reacting the way he would to any other Tellarite who is used to that sort of conversation, whereas Jankum is not. I don't necessarily know that Pog is a name reserved for paupers. It's just Tellarite's first reaction when talking to another Tellarite is to insult everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that is how I read it, but it was just, I think it would be interesting if it turns out that there is some kind of social class system amongst the Tellarites, and
like I
it would be an interesting way to introduce it.
I understand that there's a canonical reason for this behavior, right, based on what we know about the Tellarites.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
However, that is for people who are deep into the Star Trek lore, right?
Oh, there is that too.
If this is a kids show, those kids watching this are not necessarily going to know that, and they're just going to see a Starfleet officer being a jerk to a kid.
Okay, so this ties into something I wanted to talk about. A friend of mine, Carl, my podcasting host on my other podcast, like every episode of Prodigy he watches, he messages me and says, this further reinforces my belief that this show is not designed for kids, but is really the target audience for this is really adults who want to show it to their kids. Star Trek fan adults who want to show it to their kids.
Honestly, I think that's
it's
true.
filled with stuff like this, which the kids is going to go right over the kids' heads. The kids are not going to get, but there's things that we see and we understand. And I think that's true.
But even when they did this kind of thing on Next Gen, right? I'm thinking about that episode where Wesley bumps into the guy and goes, "Oh, insults are polite to this culture." That is explained to the audience. Mm-hmm. This is not explained to the audience.
And even on Star Trek and Enterprise, they explained it when Archer was having to insult the Tellarites. Right. They made it a whole plot point.
Even Strange New Worlds, when they met that race with what they called radical empathy.
Yeah.
Right? They explained it. And it... I don't know. And maybe it's this way because we're supposed to be confused, because we're supposed to be in the shoes of our protagonists here, and they are confused. But anyway...
How many times? Yeah. No, it's all right. Just to play the opposite, because that's what I do. How many times as a kid do you remember getting dismissed by an adult about something that was either, yes, important to you, but not important in the long run, or something that was actually important that they needed to pay attention to?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I don't think... Yeah. Yeah. So I don't I don't know that this is necessarily the element of Tellarites argue and that's their society. That's going over the kids' heads. But I think any kid is going to see that and go like, oh yeah. And they're going to have more sympathy for Pog and maybe not like the Doctor too much. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's going to be a good reason why we don't necessarily want to like the Doctor that much.
Oh, are you saying Dr. Noom's actually a bad guy? That'll be interesting.
Well, maybe, yeah. I'm not going to go so far as to say bad guy, but maybe not great guy.
Dr. Noom's in league with the Diviner. Chrissie said it here.
I wonder what
sure.
Tellarite's bedside manner would be.
Non-existent.
Smack somebody upside the head. Why aren't you well?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's issues with a society based on arguing that we just don't deal with.
Well, I mean, there
aren't.
There are problems with all of our Star Trek monocultures, right? Like the Romulans is based on secrecy. How does anything ever progress?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. And then we have, I'm trying to think. Gwyn runs into the Admiral's aide. See, this is not good. I'm not remembering the Starfleet names, but I'll say that's because we haven't been introduced, or we've been introduced, but we haven't spent a lot of time with them.
Ensign Essentia.
Oh, Ensign Essentia, yes.
Jamil.
Yes.
Who's doing an American accent.
Yeah, again, also like Jason Alexander, the only reason I know that's Jamil is because of the credits.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know who that is. Where would I know her from?
The Good Place?
Oh, I haven't seen that. Okay, so that's why. Then.
I guess she was also in a recent Marvel thing. But
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. There you go.
Oh, okay. And that's on my to-watch list. So, okay, cool. Right, okay, so
she also did a voice on the recent version of DuckTales.
That I have seen. Cool. Okay. All right, so she steps in when Gwyn makes a Klingon mad by speaking to him in Klingon. That was a little strange. And then what's the other? And then there's Dahl and Janeway. I feel like I'm missing one.
There's Tysus, the Andorian. Oh. Who was played by Daveed Diggs, who does sound like Daveed Diggs.
Okay.
But Rock
Daveed
also
Diggs,
encounters not... I don't think any of Janeway's crew, but is scaring people just by her size.
Yes. Yeah, the Andorian doesn't run into anybody. I was just
Well, you were talking about trying to remember people's names. I'm like, that's the other character that we need to remember is Tysus the Andorian.
Tysus the number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rock is scaring people because of her size. This is interesting. What are we thinking about what's being presented here? Like for kids.
Well, I think that's a realistic thing for kids because kids are going to be scared of people based on appearance. So I think that in and of itself is kids are going to relate to that, and they'll also see, in a way, a message to say to kids. Just because someone looks scary doesn't necessarily mean they are.
I think that's also something that kids get judged on often. People make assumptions about both age and maturity based on a child's size often. And that's not always correct.
I just, there was just an incident sometime in the last 2 weeks where there was a 9-year-old black girl who was like putting some pesticide on a tree, and the neighbor who had lived there for 8 of the 9 years that she'd been alive called the police on her because they thought that she was, how did he put it? It was a little black lady is doing something to my trees.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very real thing. Like, especially black children are often perceived as older than they are because a lot of white people see them as scary. There's just built-in racism there. And I don't know if the intention was to go that deep, but I think you certainly can.
Yeah, I didn't even go there until you started talking about kids with size and that, so, yeah. All right, and then we have Admiral Janeway, Fleet Admiral Janeway, and Doll.
I know this is not the first time that we see Janeway, real Janeway, but I really like how the character design differs from hologram Janeway.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hologram Janeway is very much like the Janeway that we saw in the early seasons of Voyager. And Admiral Janeway, not only does she have different hair, but, like, her face is a bit rounder and her stature is a bit different. And, like, the character is just drawn a little bit older. And it's subtle, but it's there. And I really, really like the distinction.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Yeah. Oh, for a random moment, Thad, Mr. Uniform Guy.
Oh, I love these. I love these winter uniforms.
Holy cats, I want it.
I thought you would love them.
Do we
think
look like that they're based on Volante?
That's what I was going to say. They look like those Volante uniforms, and
Same.
I think Volante should make them. Yeah. Because they would be able to make them exactly without making any without having to modify it in any way. They could make perfect replicas of them. They would fit with their existing products.
I mean, they already make like that long high-low coat with the hood on it. They just need to start making that in the Starfleet colors.
Yeah.
Oh, it's...
No, I love it. I want one of those uniforms so bad. They look so good.
Yeah.
Those jackets were
good.
Killer.
I also appreciate Starfleet having outerwear. Mm-hmm. You know, aside from just what we saw, like Kirk's jacket with the...
However, the Protostar outerwear, not as good.
No.
I wish they hadn't done the fur-lined hood, because the fur, or the fake fur, on the kids' jackets did not look
I hope
good.
It's fake fur.
Did not look good.
It's all fake everything. It's replicated.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope they're not actually, like, you know, killing space minks to make these.
But, like, I understand that this is a certain animation style, but, like, that's the one thing that has really bugged me about this, is how that fur on those jackets looked. Oof.
Yeah, and I
never really picked up on that, but okay.
They're like clumpy, spiky situations. Anyway.
Yeah, okay, I can see what you're talking about now. Yeah, because it kind of looks like a crown of thorns or something.
Right, yeah.
Have you ever had a fur or faux fur hood like that's gotten wet? I have. Yeah. That's what it ends up looking like. So I think...
When I have them, I usually take them off of the coat. But,
okay.
Anyway.
When I was a kid, yeah.
Well, now I'm not going to be able to look at these hoods without seeing how ugly they are. Thanks, Sue.
Sorry.
Thad, now you know how a lot of people feel when you bring up the little things about the uniforms.
Yeah, Barnes Fricks is still wearing two versions of rank pips.
Yeah.
He's a
perhaps more of his story that we don't know about.
I also really, speaking of hair and the way it sticks up, I hate those little hairs on Barnes Fricks' head that stick out. Like, yes, I know that's designed to make him look disheveled and be like, it's by design, but I hate it.
All right. And we briefly talked about Doll and Admiral Janeway's meeting earlier. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about with that?
Yeah, I understand where he gets tongue-tied with her. I get it. Mm-hmm. But, like, if he was just, instead of asking the, have you ever felt this way, like, kind of soap opera question, if he had just spit it out, things could be so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's supposed to be it's a plot point.
Oh, for sure.
So then, of course, that leads to them heading back to the Protostar and getting chased by the Dauntless. Is the Protostar that small, or is the Dauntless that big?
I think the Protostar's that small.
Okay, that was my thought, too.
Because I imagine I don't know, but I imagine the Dauntless, or at least the saucer section of the Dauntless, is more or less the same size as the Dauntless we saw on Voyager.
No, true. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same sort of reaction I had when you saw the Defiant fly by the Enterprise in in First Contact. You know, like, oh, okay.
It is a tough little ship.
You can't always get an idea of scale in space, but like, I wonder if the information is out there anywhere that the ship geeks have of the measurements of the two ships comparatively.
Oh, I'm sure somewhere.
Prodigy would have, Memory Alpha would have it if it exists.
Okay, so they're chasing them. They're going to have their protostar jump. Doesn't work because Janeway shoots them in the third nacelle, which knocks them out of warp, and I guess they have really good inertial dampeners because they didn't all get smooshed. And,
well, okay, inertia doesn't actually come into play there. So, because of the way warp works, they're not actually traveling at those high speeds.
Okay.
Like, physics, I mean, inertial dampeners are still important, but it's not as bad as you think it is.
Okay, because I was going to say, I thought the whole purpose of the inertial dampeners was to prevent them from being a human.
It does prevent them from being smooshed, but if you suddenly drop out of warp, you are not, inertia doesn't push you forward as much as you would think, because the way warp works is you're in a completely different you're not working, you're in a subspace bubble. The ship itself spatially is not moving that fast. The bubble is moving that fast.
Well, and Lower Decks taught us that they're also folding space. They're pulling two pieces of space closer together, so they don't have to go as fast or as far.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, that's what I get for making a dumb joke. All right, and the diviner is giving us little bits and pieces of information.
Memory Alpha does not know how big the protostar is, so we don't have that info yet. We need the Star Trek Prodigy technical manual to be made already.
Well, according to Reddit, I have an answer.
Okay.
Which is 312 meters. That can't be correct.
That can't possibly be correct.
Because Memory Alpha or another site says that the Dauntless is 180 meters. That can't be right.
Well, okay, if you're looking at Dauntless size, you may be looking at the size of the Dauntless from Hope and Fear, which is just the saucer.
Oh, that's true.
But Voyager is 344 meters. There's no way Protostar is almost as long as Voyager.
No.
I need answers. I need to know the relative sizes of all the starships.
I know, right?
Okay, right. And the Enterprise... Wait a second. Is that the right one? Yes, that's the right one. So the Enterprise D is supposed to be 641 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Protostar is definitely not half that.
No. Especially when you consider how many people are on the Enterprise D and how much of the Enterprise D is empty space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay,
and there's a lot of empty space if you were buying that build your own Enterprise D from Eagle Moss. Heyo.
Okay, we do have the information though that based on the size of the ship, Zero says the Protostar needs at least 20 crew members.
Right, which means there's no way it's almost as big as Voyager.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Oh, right, they get knocked out of warp. That was where I was at. Okay, so then Okana suggests that they go into the neutral zone, and of course now they're kind of trusting Okana over Janeway hologram. Kind of. What do you think?
Well, yeah, but Janeway hologram doesn't have a better idea.
That's true. That is true. I will definitely give you that.
I did like when Janeway is just like, the real me is hunting you with a quantum slipstream enabled ship. Yes. Good luck with that.
Yep, that was perfect.
So when when metamorphosized Murph sits on the console and fires the torpedo.
That was the point that I missed. Okay, sorry, yes.
About that meme that goes around every once in a while that shows Riker sitting on the tactical console with the caption, he could just be firing lasers into space with his ass for all we know. And it's just, I immediately thought of that. I'm like, I have to wonder if the Prodigy writers were also thinking of that meme.
I can't imagine they wouldn't have at least been aware of it.
Right.
I mean, with the amount of time that Aaron Walke spends on Twitter anyway.
Yes.
That was... All right, we'll come back to Murph, because I do want to talk about Murph. What did you think, both of you, about the not quite argument that Janeway has with her first officer about whether or not they're going to go in the neutral zone?
I think he was absolutely correct.
Here's the thing. How big is the neutral zone? Right? Because Federation ships are always like, oh no, there's the border with the neutral zone. We can't cross it. The instant we cross it, that's an act of war. But it seems
and yet
like
the Romulans
are in there all the time, just waiting for the Federation to misstep. Like, double standard, I'm mad.
No, I'm with you. That has been a big annoyance for me the entire time. It's always, as soon as the Federation ever enters the neutral zone, the Romulans, who theoretically should also not be in the neutral zone, always show up immediately.
They decloak immediately. It's like they have a fleet that just like goes through along the Federation border in the neutral zone, waiting for the Federation to show up.
Yeah, and there's no like, oops, I accidentally skipped across it, or I have to go chase, these children who don't know what the neutral zone is, and we can very easily explain why we're here.
Right?
Because we threw our ball in the neighbor's yard, basically. But within the context they're given, I can understand why he's arguing against it. He also mentioned that there's negotiations going on.
I was going to mention that. It sounds like there's currently some negotiations going on with the Romulans, so specifically at this moment, them violating the neutral zone might be a problem for that. I wonder if those are the negotiations about the upcoming supernova.
Yeah, I was just wondering if where this fit in the timeline with the supernova.
What year is this in? I always forget.
2383.
2383. And what year did
I don't know. I have to look it up. Oh, the Dominion War ended before then.
Well, yeah.
Because Lower Decks is currently in 2381.
Yeah, and the Hobus supernova is 2387.
Okay. So they wouldn't know about it yet then.
Okay,
no,
but this
based on... theoretically Romulus does.
Okay, but the Federation wouldn't know about it, at least based on the Una McCormick novel.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the Dominion War finished in 2375. So what year did we say this was again? I'm sorry.
2383.
2383.
So I was only able to answer that immediately because I'm looking at the memory alpha page for Prodigy right now.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a little long term for it to being post-war negotiations. Certainly wouldn't be that, but maybe there's opening of negotiations for more open discussion about things. Maybe it's the equivalent of Cold War negotiations.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. But yeah, I think that was put in there for a reason, and I think we'll find out.
But I do think Tysus is right. They shouldn't go into the neutral zone.
So I think we are seeing more and more the conflict of interest issue. And maybe we are seeing people around her being too sensitive about it in some ways too, because you are dealing with, this is a vice admiral who has been tasked with finding out what happened to a disappeared crew. Maybe she's like a little bit 10% more, emphatic about it because it was Chakotay, but that's still something that you're going to be aggressively pursuing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know that I agree that she is letting her emotions get the better of her in this instance. Yeah. I can certainly see why she would want to enter the neutral zone, but I can also see where her first officer, it is his duty to point out when that's a bad idea. That's that's kind of one of the big reasons to have a first officer is for something like that. I mean, because Riker would have said the same thing to Picard, and Chakotay would have said the same thing to Janeway.
Keep me on my toes. Well, that sounds like the definition of a first officer. Mm-hmm. You are ambitious, aren't you?
It's certainly given the shippers a lot to work with, right? There's definitely some implications here of like,
because there wasn't Chakotay. The shippers never had anything to work with Janeway and Chakotay before.
I mean, yes, but it's being reinforced here in Prodigy.
All right.
I like how I always see your cat's butt, but never anything else.
Do you want to see her face? Yep. Come here, Dum-Dum. Here's her face.
Aww.
There's Kitty.
Oh, yeah, that's one.
Oh, cute. The spotchy nose.
Thank you. Be good. All right.
All right, here's a total aside, and then we'll talk about Murph. Okay. Or maybe we should talk about Murph first. But we have kind of gotten information. People are like, yeah, okay, so the Captain Janeway, or the Janeway-Chakotay relationship is somebody said going to and it wasn't like the next logical step, but it was something akin to that. And the shippers, including myself, did grab onto that. But the more I've been thinking about this, given that this is a kid's show, okay, are we missing an opportunity to present the idea that a man and a woman can have a close relationship without it being romantic to kids? Or is that not as important as it used to be, which is maybe the case?
Well, I would say whatever is being presented in Prodigy, it's certainly not explicit. And I think the people reading into this being a romantic relationship are the people who have the history of Voyager. I think if you were viewing Prodigy in a vacuum, you wouldn't necessarily think there was more than like close friends. Because in this case,
the whole why didn't you call scene kind of.
I guess, but like even the kids say, like, and this is a close friend of the Admiral, when they talk about like, oh, they think we kidnapped a close friend of the Admiral. And I don't think this is the like historical non-romantic washing of like historians will say they were friends, but like I
did think of that when you said that.
I had
Janeway
to think
and Chakotay,
of that,
famous roommates,
right? Famous roommates. I don't think it's that, especially because it would be a hetero relationship, right? We usually see that with queer relationships.
And that's why I brought it up, because, God's forbid you have two, straight people of the opposite sex who might be attracted to each other who aren't acting on it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that never happens in real life.
Right. Yeah. Oh, okay. So it was just popped in my head now while we were talking, so. All right, well, we all know the most important part of this is Murph. So what do we think about Murph metamorphosis? Is that what?
Yes, metamorphosis.
I tried to say murphamorphosis. Which I actually did say just then. All right, cool. Sue, you had some thoughts before we started recording.
He looks like a butt plug. With legs.
I hadn't thought. Once again, Sue has now said something that I won't be able to unsee when watching things.
Yep.
Oh man, I
with the little thing on top. Yeah, I'm with you.
I can see it. Like it, and like I feel bad that I don't like it.
I assume he won't stay this size. I think he's going to keep growing and changing.
Yeah,
I really hope that's the case.
Well, now it needs to be. That you've said that. If it's not.
Oh, God. Someone
Dear
on
Kevin
Etsy
and Dan Hayerman.
Someone on Etsy is going to sell Murph butt plugs now.
Oh, God, no. No.
I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone listening to this podcast. Oh.
Now, I think that's one thing that kids are not likely to pick up on.
Yes, I think you are 100% correct on that. To me, he looked like one of those like cartoons of an ice cream cone. So going from that to what you said. Do you think we're going to get a Murph that communicates in anything other than whistles and grunts and other ways of using Dee Bradley Baker's voice that
I think probably, yeah. Like, because the new version clearly is designed to look more humanoid. So I think the idea is to definitely show that Murph will be, developing intelligence. So I think, Murph is probably going to speak at some point.
Okay.
I would like to see Murph not speak, but the rest of the crew get better at learning to communicate on his terms.
You want a Chewbacca situation?
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay.
That's not a bad...
I don't hate that idea.
Yeah, I like that idea. I guess watching Star Wars, I always just assumed that Han spoke Wookiee.
Well, I think that was the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, thinking on this now, because, Rock Talk seems to be very clued in to what Murph is saying. Mm-hmm. And, there's no discussion of languages there. It's just understanding. That's not a bad message.
I hope it's understanding. I hope it's not when I have conversations with my cats.
To be fair, I do often know what my cat wants, but...
Yes.
But, it could be that. It could be, what did you do today, meow? Oh, was it interesting? Like, it could be. I hope it's not.
I think it's more than that. I think she's... Because Rock Talk is reading meaning into it more than I think we do with our cats or dogs or whatever.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Murph beep boop and have the rest of the crew know what he means and understand and respond.
No, I like that idea a lot.
And not necessarily respond in the same language, but like lean into your universal translator, or like have Rock say, like, I've studied Murph's language and I have loaded it into our system, so we'll be able to you can put the explanation in, but I don't know. I feel like it would be weird for Murph to like speak English or standard or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we want to talk about with this episode? Prodigy always leaves me to feel like I'm missing something, and I think it's just because it's short and there's not 3 different plot lines going on that we have to talk about.
So I made a note that just says, is the diviner faking?
Oh.
I don't think he is.
I don't think so. I thought he was before, but I don't think he is now.
Yeah, we talked about this last week.
I remembered about Gwyn and Zero.
Yeah, I think the diviner only remembers what we've seen him remembering. I think that's why we've been seeing flashbacks for the diviner.
Oh, also, Jankum Pog has clearly watched Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Well, it's a good movie.
Hold on to your butts.
He says it twice in the course of like 5 minutes.
Oh, I didn't catch it was twice.
He says it in the chase scene.
Yeah, he says it on the speeder, and then
he says it
again
to
on the
Okana
Protostar.
on the Protostar.
Okay. It was on the Protostar I caught. I didn't catch the other one.
Hold on to your butt.
What would that look like in a holodeck? I don't want holo Jurassic Park.
Oh, also, the part I did like about Murph's metamorphosis was the immediate torpedo butt dial.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
That was beautiful.
Yeah, like I was saying, I think that's a reference to the Riker thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. And we mentioned that there were Xindi at the station. We also saw Kazon.
The exact same Kazon from the pilot, or at least looking exactly the same and wearing the exact same clothes.
Kazon!
I did not catch that.
I didn't either. That's all on your Killibrand on Twitter, who catches everything.
All right. Sue, thanks so much for joining us today. This has been a great conversation about not just this week's episode of Prodigy, but also some tips and interesting info about cons and the cruise. So yes, thanks for being here for that. Where can people find you if they want to talk to you online, and what work would you like to mention?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I hope you don't regret it after my
absolutely not.
But
absolutely not.
We've had worse on this show.
Oh, gods, yes.
I suppose you can find me on Twitter for as long as that lasts. I'm not even before I was not very active over there, and I am less active now, but my username is Spaltor. That's SPALTOR. You can also find me on Women at Warp, a Star Trek podcast where we discuss intersectional diversity and infinite combinations, over at womenatwarp.com and at Women at Warp on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but not TikTok because we're old.
That's a very fine line where Instagram, yes, but TikTok, no.
Instagram is definitely skews older than TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Maybe it's just because I'm not a huge fan of Instagram. Then again, I'm sitting here also with reading glasses on the end of my nose, so I guess I don't.
Most social media I still have because of the podcast, let's be honest.
I'm not wearing them, but I also should be wearing glasses, so, you know.
Yeah, well. I've got distance contacts, but then I need the reading glasses, so, you know.
I would be in that situation if I had bothered to put in my contacts today.
All right. Okay, so, listeners, the infinite diversity of people who are over the age of 35. Yes? Am I good there? Okay,
yes, you're good.
Right. And his eyes are not.
Yes, we're all ancient.
Yep. So, Thad, where can people find you where you're not working out a programming thing that makes it so that when people sit on displays, they don't shoot torpedoes at other ships?
All right. Well, you can also currently, probably, I can't say that for sure. As of the moment of this recording, you can find me on Twitter at Tyrannicus. That's TYRANICUS. Also, I have set myself up over on Mastodon as well, where you can find me at Tyrannicus at 10forward.social. And you can hear me on the other podcast I do, License to Spiel, with my friend Carl, where we talk about the James Bond films and related things. We're currently going through the Austin Powers movies. And that's about it. Oh, Chrissie, where can people find you when you're not ignoring your communicator?
I think we all do that at times. All right, so in addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagys here on BQN. That's a twice-weekly history short podcast I do with my fellow historian partner, Jason. This week, I'm going to be looking at a history of unionization, of education, and maybe just unionization in general, because, shameless personal plug here, yesterday, as of this recording, the nascent adjunct union at one of the schools where I work, Delta College, has voted to become part of the Michigan Education Association, and thereby the National Education Association. So I freaking unionized the adjuncts at one of my schools.
Hell yeah.
So,
awesome.
So you can find me there, too, making the administration mad. I'm happy to chat about our shows on the BQN Collective on Facebook. And as long as it exists, I'm on Twitter at the Goddess Livia. That's TheGoddessLivia. I haven't set up accounts anywhere else, but I'm fairly sure the Goddess Livia will be available. So when I do, that's what it'll be. Of course, now that I've said that.
Well, the advantage to Mastodon is if it's not available on one server, you can always just set it up on a different server.
Oh, that's true.
So, yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Mastodon, but it's like a whole bunch of different servers that talk to each other. So, like, your username is your username on that specific server, but then you can communicate with people who are on other servers.
Good to know. All right. Personally, I think this is the time when everybody who used to work at Twitter and everybody who is still working at Twitter need to find a way to buy it out and then make it a worker cooperative. But that's me.
Well, if Elon's willing to sell it for what it's actually worth and not, $44 billion.
Well, yeah, that's gone. He's and you know what? That much money isn't real anyway. Nope. So
no, but it's not real. But if someone wants to give me that much money, I can find a way to use it.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Like,
if anybody wants to give me 43.9
billion of it will all get donated to things that actually need the money, and then the rest is gonna, I'll have some fun.
Host a Star Trek convention.
Yes.
Mission Thad's house.
No,
it's just
Mission Convention Center conveniently located near Thad's house.
It's an exclusive event with just you and the celebrities coming to visit you.
Okay, now that could be cool.
You can pay a lot of appearance fees with that money.
Yeah.
All right. Don't forget all of our other great shows on BQN, like Galaxy Class, All Good Things, Union Federation, What's the T-Bev, Mickey's Marvels, and of course History with the Szilagys. And exclusively for our Patreon members, there's It's Green with Mark White and Amy's Math Moment.
And thank you so much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
If you want to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter, for the moment, at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. On our next episode, we'll be talking about Prodigy's next episode, Masquerade. Until then, peace and long life.